Hey, you don't look confident, Bo. You don't look confident when you're doing that. You don't look confident.
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar, sponsored by ChiefsBlitz.com, presented by UnderdogFantasy.com. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athen, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense
He got
Todd.
the winning Super Bowl touchdown.
Okay, got a catch. Anybody could have made that catch.
The Kansas City Chiefs select Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State.
You did it, man. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Guys, y'all got it. Comic. Guys, y'all.
I don't know what the trade details are. Hold on.
Woo.
Boom.
They got Worthy.
Xavier Worthy.
Isn't that crazy? It's been 11 months since the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and it's gone by so fast.
Oh, it's time to piss straight off. Pull up a picture of 81. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Rashad Smith.
Let's go.
There it is. The Chiefs have done their perfect draft.
Dre's gone. I don't know where he's gone.
Yo, welcome to the show. It's the Chiefs Blitz night. Breaking down the plays, keeping everything tight. From my homes to the defense, we can be the scoop. Real talk, real stats, we the ultimate truth.
All right, welcome back to the next edition of Chiefs Blitz Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Athen, with producer extraordinaire, Mr. Hense Todd, the man who leads all the golden jacket moments for the show. We'll have many more to discuss. We're also joined by Lou Montagna and Mr. Harold Kuntz from Fox 4. Gentlemen, we are here on, I guess we'll call it Demolition Monday. That's what I'm calling it, Demolition Monday. What has to happen to save our Chiefs? But we'll get into that before we do. Let's talk about our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. If you like playing games, it's back. If you like playing games online, this is your best game option. You can start with $5. You can get up to $100 in bonus entries, and it's pretty great. You just play the pick'em game. You go higher or lower, and we make it easy here to join. All you got to do is hit the QR code where it says scan here and put in the promo code Chiefs Blitz. Set up your account, make your deposit, play your first game, and you're going to be eligible for the grand prize if we hit 100 subscribers. This Super Bowl 4 ball signed by Johnny Robinson, Emmett Thomas, Lenny Dawson, Willie Lanier, and my former next-door neighbor, Bobby Bell. The case, the glass, another $100 item will be delivered as well. So, again, we need to hit that magic number of 100. So, keep setting it up. Keep playing. Play 5, get $100. You can't beat that. You can play sports and make money for us unathletic people. I don't know, Harold. I don't know if you're not athletic or not, but my athletic days are
Speak for yourself, Nick.
My athletic days are long gone.
Yeah, they're past me.
Okay, all right, Lou. I guess you're the only one. So, I'm sorry, Hans. You're young enough still.
I got this though. Yeah, I'm athletic. You know.
Good.
But,
Good.
Well, other than that, man. Other than that, it was a game that we watched. The game we watched last night, and we probably seen some of this stuff before. Seen some of this stuff happening before the season. And Harold was out there all season. Still's got 4 more games to left. So you probably seen some stuff. Seen the signs of this season. But what do you think about so far for what you saw last night, Harold?
Oh gosh, after last night, team got lost focus, lost concentration. We've seen the discipline problems rear its ugly head time and time again. This time it wasn't even penalties; it was just self-inflicted wounds. Houston did nothing special. Nothing special. In fact, Chris Jones even admitted, we figured out what they were doing. So it was like the defense was lights out. They did their job. No one on the defense can be blamed. The only reason Houston has 20 points is because they were set up for 17 of them. So set up in prime position for 17 of them. So they only had 3 points on their own. Don't blame the defense. Defense came out. They lights out. They understood the assignment of December football. You figured, okay, this team going to show up for December football and they just been playing around with us? Well, the defense definitely did. Don't blame Patrick Mahomes. It's inexcusable. It's reckless to blame Patrick Mahomes. Yes, he had 10 incomplete passes. maybe 3 or 4 of them are on him. Maybe they should have been calling 10 passes to begin with. And then we know about the drops. I mean, Kareem had a bad drop. I'm not even mad at Tyquan's drop. That was just a good play by the defensive back. But Rashid's got to catch that ball on 4th down. Travis Kelce's got to catch one of those balls. He's just got to. He knows it. And the fact that really got me a little more antsy about it than some other things. I'll go back to the week. I went into the locker room midweek Thursday, and there's the receivers having a powwow basically about attitude and effort. And, hey, we got to lock in. We got to do the right things. We didn't talk to them, but we could hear them discussing this in the locker room. And I'm sitting here like, you're preparing for the fifth to last season of the game. And you're talking about attitude and preparation, mentality, and locking in. Mm-hmm. And then you do that. I don't know if we're allowed to cuss here.
You can.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You do that shit on Sunday? You do that shit? Like seriously. Like it just doesn't reflect well. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say they're not trying. Of course they're trying, but it just does not reflect well. And they honestly, the fact that they left the locker room before media entered, that shows lack of accountability. There's got to be. I mean, there's veteran leadership there. Hollywood's a veteran. Juju's a veteran. You can have 1 or 2 of those guys stick around and be like, answer for the younger guys' mistakes. But at the end of the day, we're seeing you can only patch together so much great talent and great finds in the draft and free agency. Eventually, it just comes to a head that other teams are just at this point got a little more talent than you. And that's just really what it comes down to. And it finally just hit them. And I think we see that tonight too. That's why I think the Chiefs still have it's a small chance, but I still think they got a real shot at this playoff thing.
You do.
I think they got a real shot. And that's not because of them. That's because if they beat the Chargers, they've got a shot. If they do lose to the Chargers, then you can officially call it a day.
It's over.
Yeah. Then you can officially then the math just not working with the tiebreakers.
Mathematically they have a shot.
Yeah,
and I think that's it. But you hit on something there, Harold, that I think has probably been an issue going back to even last season. Yeah. You see, it's so cliche to talk about team chemistry and all this other stuff, and people kind of laugh it off or whatever. Oh, yeah, we just have more talented players or whatever. That's a real thing. If your team isn't together, like you said, I mean, they're talking about locking in when you're basically do or die. I mean, what have you been doing the rest of the season? But then they put up a performance like that. It's a real thing, and it can get away from you very quickly. As much as they built it, and they were just flying through the last 7 or 8 seasons, right? And as easy as everything, they made everything look. As soon as it gets away, you now see it, how hard everything has become.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, getting a first down seems to be a chore anymore. And putting together 2 or 3 in a row, it's like it's difficult from a fan's perspective because you're so used to seeing them clicking on all cylinders on a regular basis that it just kind of dwindled over the last few seasons. And now it's kind of come to this where they really can't get that back. And hell, I don't know what the answer is. I think you're right. The leadership has to really grab some of these guys and say, hey, this is unacceptable. This isn't how we play here. This isn't how we go about business. So it's hard to watch as a fan.
This is what Andy Reid said at the press conference. At his Zoom, wherever conference
Zoom call today.
Go ahead, Nick.
Our guys will be ready to go. Speaking of Sunday, you go through this and regather your thoughts. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. If you put everything out there and come up on the short end, you should feel that you've got to do better. We're deep into Chargers right now. And I mean, he can say all that stuff, but he says that stuff every week,
I mean, what else do you expect him to say though?
He can't say anything because he can't fix anything. It's too late. The roster's set. The habits are formed. the whole process of the negatives and the positives of the offseason, the draft, OTAs, minicamp, suspensions, injuries. I mean, how many teams in the NFL have 3 offensive linemen who are injured or out, starters? And the Chargers. Okay, well, that's it. And
there might
Chargers,
be others. But
precisely why I think they still got a shot at this.
Yeah, and but to their credit, the Chargers have overcome some of those things and just played out of their minds and played some bad teams. So I think for Andy, we can blame Andy all we want to, and he certainly has responsibility in all of this, but he can't. There's nothing he can do. It is up to the players. Yeah, he can manage the game better. He can call better plays. But if you got 10 drops and you have a quarterback who had 10 straight incompletions and 3 of those were to the other team, I mean, those things take a toll. It's all numbers. We talked about this after they lost to the Cowboys. The numbers game, the math doesn't work, and the math isn't working right now for Kansas City on offense. And I don't want to hear any more shit about Chris Jones. That man has balled out for the last 3 or 4 games, gone nonstop, knowing he has
exceptional.
He has to carry this entire defense and hope a guy like George Karlaftis will step up and make a play, or that Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquil are going to plug the gap and make a play. And he's done everything you can ask for, and he's getting the shaft too. Mahomes is getting the shaft. So I think for Andy, he can't fix any of this. He's not going to fix it. If they don't make the playoffs, that's when the fixing has to happen. And if the Chiefs are smart, they are not going to ride into 2026 the way 2025 ended. They've got to make some changes on the staff. They've got to make some changes with personnel. Maybe they get a different type of athlete in here, because you can see it. You look at the Patriots. They got defense. They got speed. You look at Houston. They got defense. They got speed. They're physical. Offensively, you're seeing these teams. You don't have to throw the ball for 350 yards. You can manage a game and win. And I think we're going back to the great defenses and offenses that are above efficient that can put up points.
Well, speaking of great defenses, was Andy Reid 4th down gamble reckless? Was that a reckless call right there? The game is tied. Your defense is coming out of halftime. Figured out what the Chris Jones said. They figured out what the Texans was doing there. Was that gamble there a reckless gamble? Lou, was it?
Well, in retrospect, absolutely. I mean, you're deep. I mean, I don't want to say deep in your own territory, but you're at like the 30-yard line.
29-yard line.
They're in field goal range if you don't get it. It's been a very, defensive battle. The offense hasn't really shown any sort of rhythm or consistency, but he feels like they have a play, we can get it, and so forth. But your defense is playing lights out. That's as good as they've played in all season, from what I could see. They're getting a pass rush. Chris Jones all of a sudden was he couldn't be blocked. He couldn't be stopped. So that's a tough call for Andy. I don't know if kind of some of those calls that he didn't make in the Dallas game were still lingering in the back of his mind, but that's a totally different situation. That was more of an offensive game, back and forth. Right. You want to go ahead, and in that type of game, you don't want to give the ball back to the Cowboys. But in this case, the Texans were they were neutered in the second half. So punt the ball, you may have your defense, the better unit right now, put them on the field, have them do their thing and see where it goes. But that's a tough one. I mean, that's like, you don't make that. Again, just the odds, analytics, we're being aggressive. I mean, you hear all these buzzwords, and that's just kind of like the answer to all this. And teams and coaches are kind of, we were just being aggressive and doing this, not kicking field goals. We're being aggressive. So that's just kind of like the buzzword for, hey, analytics said to go, so we're going to go. Now, I don't think Andy Reid is using analytics in this case, but you got to play the game that you are in. And if it's a defensive game, I think in retrospect, even if he makes it, you're not guaranteed to get points. you have a better chance, obviously, because you keep the ball. But there was plenty of time in the game. Your defense is playing really well. Punt the ball deep. Arise has been nailing it. So
that's what he said, Luke. Do you agree what he said there?
What's that?
He failed 4th and 1. He thought the risk was worth the reward at the time, but it slapped him in the face. Well, it slapped him in the face. They're 6 and 7, so that's what he was facing.
Yeah.
If
he makes it, are we asking the same question?
Probably. That's a big risk when your defense is playing great football.
Absolutely.
They had the secret sauce, and I think the problem with it is he took the moment. I give him credit for taking the risk based on everything that has happened this season, but in retrospect, it was probably the worst coaching decision of his tenure in Kansas City, just because of the way the ebb and flow of the game was going. He was trying to force feed something that, going against a team, and correct me if I'm wrong, Harold, they've given up 3 points in the second half all year average.
Yeah, that's about right.
You don't go against that math.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the way the defense had played, I think you just keep playing the field position game, and hopefully you get there, get a couple first downs, and finally you come with it. But you get a field goal maybe from Butker, maybe. I mean, it's Butker.
Yeah, 50-50, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, you get there, you run out of there, it's 13-10, and then the conversation is, whoa, the offense stinks, but it's sure going to W. Regarding the call, though, I do agree with the call in the sense that the team was coaching with desperation. And Andy Reid kind of sensed it. They needed something to get them going. I also agree with as crazy as it sounds, I also agree with not just simply, lining up and running the football, because I think that was just way too obvious for Houston to figure out. And let's be real here, that 4th and 1 at the goal line that Kareem Hunt just scored a touchdown on, Daniel Hunter was right there in the backfield. He just didn't make the tackle. So they knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that was part of Andy's thinking. So there's going to be some rub or some cross or something that they had planned. But once he had too much time in the pocket and Jalen Moore was, had Will Anderson coming through, breathing down his neck. I mean, it was going to be a bad throw. It was going to be a forced throw. And what gets me about the whole play, too, is that at no point did you see receivers getting separation there either.
No.
And that's been a constant theme throughout the season. We discussed so much about this EGE, the 145, whatever you want to call it. The one part of it has been a bit hobbled, but he does get open every now and again. The 5 part of it, we have seen, we honestly have seen Hollywood make at least one good play a game,
right.
But probably not as much as they want. And the 4 part of it, I'm just going to be fair at you. It hasn't been a good season. And just it has not been a season to which we all thought that, oh, yeah, the moment Rashee Rice comes back, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It hasn't been up to his liking. I'm sure it hasn't been up to the team's liking. And then you add in the drops at crucial moments. It hasn't been good. And then the trust factor, as much as Patrick's going to sit there at the podium and say, yeah, I trust these guys no matter what, 100%, you can tell that, or if I throw the ball better. He said it a few times after games. He's like, I got to put the ball right there. I got to lead them better. It is like, man, I'm telling you, like, you are right in the fact that, yes, everybody wants to throw a pass right here. But the problem is, if it's here, you would expect talented receivers
to go there
to get that.
Yeah.
And it's just not working for whatever reason. And you can tell it's not clicking. And this game Sunday was not a matter of like, well, they didn't have a good run pass balance, or they didn't do any art. They needed to do less RPOs, more under center runs. They needed to go deep more.
Yeah. Simply
put, they ruined themselves out there.
Yeah.
Like that, like if there was ever a game that said, yeah, look at you because you did it, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And that's why he did the 4th down call. Because at that point he was desperate for something.
I'll be the one. I'll say it was reckless. You know what I mean? Your defense, you coming out here, you got 10-10 Todd. Chris Jones said he figured it out. They had things going. The defense looked like they was unstoppable. The Texans didn't know what to do after the halftime. You know what I mean? They had nothing going. They kept punting the ball. That 4th and 31, like Lou said, you're gonna give that team a 3-point, no matter what. No worst case scenario, they're gonna get 3 points out of that. And the play they called, you had Patrick Mahomes dropping back 10 yards, to throw a pass for 4 yards, and every receiver is down on the line, then you got other guys crossing it. It was just a bad play call. I think it was reckless at that moment. 10 minutes to go in the game, and your defense was hot. The hot hand, like I said, hot hand.
Think about this too. They almost got bailed out when Chris Jones almost made that sack, and then of course CJ Stroud makes that nice play. They almost got bailed out of that call.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'll say it was reckless, but the season on the line, the game on the line. I can see it, but 10 minutes to go in the game, when your defense in the game is tied and y'all matched up well, the defense has figured them out. I'll say that was a reckless gamble by Andy Reid. What you had to say, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I everything you guys are saying, makes sense. And Harold, I don't disagree with the desperation of the move at the time and everything that was involving in the game. He was looking for something magic to spark his team. I personally thought the magic happened when they, went forward on 4th and 1, near the goal line, and Kareem Hunt, just by the sheer will of God, got into the end zone. And I thought that was the momentum. And I think what Andy did is he didn't think that momentum was going to carry with the defense, because they still hadn't produced a first down until we got into the fourth quarter. And I think the play that got me on the defensive side was before the 3rd and 16 completion, when they were backed in the end zone. CJ Stroud's got the ball up in the air. There were 4 defenders. Not a single one of our defenders went for the ball that was just there for the taking. Batted out, hit it. That's one knock I have about this defense. They don't go to try to punch out balls and things like that. That's nitpicking. That would have changed the game, I think. I think that would have just completely demoralized the Texans at that point. But Andy gave them new life, and they took advantage of it and scored 10 points in the second half, in the fourth quarter. And, that was ball game. But, I can see it from both sides. I personally would not – that wasn't the play to risk. So, and it didn't work. All right.
So let's get to the next question, Nick.
All right. Is the Mahomes mystique officially dead after a 3-interception meltdown? Well, I know the Star wrote about that this morning, that the Mahomes mystique is I don't know if it's necessarily dead, but I will say this. I think the Mahomes magic is suffering from an identity crisis at the moment. And again, it's not all his doing. He's doing everything he can. He went out there with a makeshift offensive line, and we'll talk about Asa Polle here in a minute. But, he had to deal with situations. But I think the thing that bothered me, and Harold touched on it, is that the Texans defensively weren't doing anything magical. They weren't doing anything that wasn't expected. They didn't do anything that when you look at, that you can't overcome that. Had they executed better on offense, and let's say they had 5 drops instead of 10, or they had 8 drops instead of 10, maybe it's a different game. They were given a whole bunch of chances, and offensively they didn't take care of it. And Mahomes, I don't know, Harold, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You see him out there, but it's like he I know the knee is bothering him. I know it's an issue. It's probably a bigger issue than we realize. He can't plant his foot. He can't throw the deep ball the way he wants to. It's not anything that's going to be corrected this year. So somebody is just going to need time off and some time with Bobby Troop to be able to fix it. But, so the receivers have to run shorter routes. They have to be in front of the defender, not behind, in some situations, knowing that deep ball can't get there. And, and the receivers aren't helping because they're not really, you tell me who's running a precise route anymore. Xavier's, he's damaged. He's hurt. He can't run like he did. Hollywood seems to run kind of interesting routes. Juju knows what to do. Rashee Rice, again, is just not the player that we saw last year. And a lot of factors are contributing to that. And then that leaves Kelsey doing the best that he can. And so I think the mystique from a national perspective and from teams in the AFC, they probably think it's over. And a lot of the national media today is saying, the Chiefs are done. The dynasty's over. Mm-hmm. And it may be for now, but I can't count out Mahomes. He's not even 31 years old yet. So I don't think the mystique is over. When he's suddenly not going to become a bad quarterback, consistently over the next few years. Now, if this happens again next year and the year after, then maybe we look at this team a whole lot different. But again, without Mahomes, we'd still be talking about 59 years or 57 years now of not going to the Super Bowl.
What you had to say, Lou?
Yeah, he didn't forget how to play football.
No.
I mean, it was pretty ugly, because just the completion percentage, the turnovers, the quarterback rating. You look at all the metrics, and it was just awful. Probably his worst performance of his career with the Chiefs, quite frankly. But a lot of the factors that Nick talked about is that's got to be part of it, because you can see, like on the two deep balls to Hollywood, the one that he caught, he had to come back for, or, again, if he puts that out there for him, maybe he scores a touchdown. The one that gets picked off, again, it came up short. Otherwise, if he gets it over the defender's head, maybe Hollywood can go get it. Otherwise, it's incomplete. So it's hard because you've seen what he's done in the past. You see maybe what some of these name guys are doing, kind of in his wake, like a Josh Allen, like a Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford in the NFC. Some other guys are really like, okay, like these guys are still kind of, making plays, doing their thing. But I think Patrick's situation is just a little bit different because, and I think it comes back to the receivers and maybe the type of receivers they've gone after. Again, Xavier, we can kind of keep saying that he's injured and everything else. The dude was never a great route runner. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what you guys think or what you tell me. He was never a great route runner. He was the fastest guy in the draft, and that's what they went after, and that's what they got. So let's see if he can make himself into something different, because he's not necessarily a playmaker unless he gets behind the defense.
Right.
Okay, that's what you got. Hollywood, again, he can get to different spots, but he better be open when he gets there. You're not going to see many contested catches from these guys. So there's a lot that goes into this. I think when he hit, they kind of hit the league with Patrick and some of these concepts that they run. I hate to keep starting on this, but Tyreek Hill really changes the numbers in the backfield, changes just how defense is played and everything else. And he's just a special player. Not saying that Patrick can't play without him or still continue to be great, but I think they just have to kind of rethink of the type of receiver that they're getting, and as far as how they get open, and just be more playmakers, because that's what they need. And when they needed to make plays last night, they couldn't even catch the damn ball.
Yeah.
They just need to look at my golden jacket list, right? They just need to look at it.
Absolutely.
They need to go.
What are we talking about here?
28 minutes.
Look at that. What hints is Lou looking at? So, Harold, what you have to say?
Make sure you email that over to One Arrowhead Drive before the draft. Okay.
All right, Harold. What do you say about Patrick?
It's funny you mentioned. I was actually looking at the Kansas City Star articles you were discussing about. Here's the thing about dynasties. You don't make a documentary about it before you feel you're already in one. One, don't do that. That just now looks really incredibly stupid. Just going to say what it is. Two, we always mention the Patriots dynasties. Well, they had like two separate dynasties, if you remember. They had one in the door at the beginning and one toward the end. They had to recalibrate everything, and you could argue the teams in the middle were better because they went undefeated before they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. They had Randy Moss. I mean, those teams offensively were a heck of a lot better product. So they sustained winning, even though, with the exception of 1 year Brady tore his ACL, I believe, in like game one. They sustained winning despite the fact that they weren't winning Super Bowl titles.
Right.
And just toward the end, they finally got the championships like they did toward the beginning. At the beginning, I think what we're seeing here is the beginning, and they're gonna have to do a transformation. The only problem is they're doing it with a transformation with a coach that's getting up there in age. Who knows how long anyone really wants to stay? He has a lifetime contract, as far as I'm concerned. They're not getting rid of him until he says he's done, because they're not going to do that. He's earned that right. He's deserved that right. You're going to ride with him till whenever. And I don't think anybody there, including Patrick Mahomes, wants him gone either. But what they do need to change is they just need talent. And I think, even mid-level draft picks, see how Brett Veach can do with the mid-level draft picks, see if they can get some guys developed. Because remember, they got Travis Kelce in the third round. They got Tyreek Hill in the third round. They've gotten so many other guys in the third. They got Tyreek Hill in the fifth round. They've got so many guys over the years that they've got so many guys over the years that have produced that were not high-level draft picks. Right. And they're banking on the same thing again. And they cannot keep doing that cycle over and over and over again. Now, with Mahomes and Mystique, the Mystique's done because I think we saw on the TV broadcast, he's heating up his knee like every possession with like a specialized electric wrap. So it looks like he's clearly not 100%. A lot of that has to do with just all the hits he's taken. And you fear that you're not getting like a Daniel Jones type situation where it's like he's clearly hurt. He should not be playing. Our backup is Riley Leonard. Oh, crap. Now he's torn his ACL. He's done for the year because his entire rest of his legs trying to compensate for all of his injuries. So he's not being able to – he's probably not able to step into things the way he wants to. He's a competitor. He's going to keep trying. He's going to keep firing. But, you sometimes overcorrect your injuries. And, let's be honest, that man's played a lot of football. Right. Yeah, he's a lot of football. And it's not the way he wants it to be, obviously, from a offensive standpoint. And the mystique, I mean, there really wasn't a mystique to begin with, except for like maybe the first couple of years when it was like, wow, look at all those balls going deep. I mean, like Seattle's defense had a mystique for a bit, and the next thing you know, within a year or two, it was gone.
They sucked, yeah.
So like we have to put in perspective. There's mystique, and then there's just other teams just quickly realizing they're going to make mistakes. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of this environment. We played here before. Like Houston came in pissed. Like Houston lost last year in the playoffs. We forgot that like they were a very pissed off football team coming here. Yeah, and quite determined. So like, what do you think mystique? Right. There's not much more mystique when you play the team 3, 4, 5 times. Like there's just like at this point, it's like I want to beat you guys.
He did force the rest of the league to change the way defenses play now. Exactly. As far as again, I mean, there was always 2 high safeties, but it was very rare occasions.
Now they're just going straight man.
Yep.
That was to prevent defense and everything else. That goes back to the wide receiver type, Harold, I believe, is that these guys don't beat man coverage. I mean, outside of like running those crossing routes, rub routes, and whatever. None of them are really crisp route runners that can get open on their own. Again, that's from what I see. What do I know? But that's what it looks like. So he has a tough time. And from what I was saying before, in terms of that chemistry, it goes like that. And that's an excellent example is the Legion of Boom. I mean, they didn't do anything special either. I mean, you talked about the Houston defense not doing anything special. They play very simply. Our 4 guys down front, and maybe we'll throw a 5th guy in there so everybody gets a one-on-one, are better than your guys. And then the guys in the back just make plays when they have to, and that's kind of sustained them. So, but in terms of Patrick, I mean, he's never going to complain. He's never going to throw anybody under the bus. Everything is going to be on him, and that's just the way he is. That's the way he's wired. You're never going to have to like go motivate him to do something, to play better or to play hurt or anything like that. Now, you would hope that would kind of make its way through the locker room and so forth. And I think for the most part, it has. It's just little situations like what Harold described earlier that's a little disturbing.
Let me ask you a question, Harold, because I think when you mention we all watched the Patriots. It's a dynasty. Yes, they had 2 separate periods. I think the first period was just Bill Belichick being a master at defense because Brady wasn't all that great a quarterback early in his career. Those 3 Super Bowls were won by the defense. But that 10-year gap, what we saw with the resurgence of the Patriots, and this is what I think Patrick Mahomes has to do, is that Tom Brady, to have the next quote-unquote dynasty, Brady took over. He recruited players. He challenged the coaching staff. He challenged his he made demands in the front office with Belichick, and which rubbed him the wrong way. Does Patrick need to say, okay, I got a $70 million cap hit next year. Obviously, he's going to get a restructured contract. I would like to see this, and this, whether that's player evaluation, coaching.
Honestly, I think he already does, just because he's always been so interested in player evaluations. I mean, this is a guy that focuses on Senior Bowl tape sometime, because he's mentioned in the past, like, he has maybe general management aspirations in his future. So he definitely studies. I mean, we all remember the story of how they presented 3 players to him, and he said Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the best of the 3. Now, we know how that worked out.
That was a long time ago. We'll give him that. We'll forgive him for that one.
But he was getting his foot. But that just shows how interested he was in evaluation of prospects and players he thinks would fit within the larger scale of the offense. So I think he already has a good say in it. It's just a matter of sometimes you pick the wrong ones.
Yeah. I think that's like, because of just the contract that he has. I mean, that's more like a partnership.
Yes,
than it is a player and coach and player GM and so forth. So I don't think he's going to pick specific players, but if he sees something on the roster that he feels that he needs or the team needs, I don't think he has any issue going to Veach, going to Coach Reed, going to Clark Hunt if he has to say, hey, this is what I see, and we should probably move in a different direction. But it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, this contract's going to be very interesting.
The last offseason, I said that was going to be the most important offseason, this past one, of Veach's career. This one has just ratcheted up a little bit. So let's go.
So the next question, Nick.
Does Clark Hunt spend the money to solve player and or coaching issues? Coaching issues would be, does he let some of the higher priced coaches go? And I'm not saying that's Andy Reid. He's going to have to eat some salary. Same with some players. I mean, the salary cap's going to be an issue next year. They've got to be extremely creative. They've got some guys on this roster who won't be back next year, which is going to help. But this is not with only 5 draft picks. Unless they make unless they trade McDuffie, which I would assume they're going to at least attempt to do. Someone suggested this morning that maybe Chris Jones. I think Chris Jones is a lifer for Kansas City. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. I don't think this is going to be a Neil Smith situation where he goes to a division rival. I think the thing with Clark Hunt is he's got this dome stadium idea that he wants to put in Kansas or Missouri somewhere, and then you gotta keep the franchise playing at a high level and a winning level, and this isn't going to happen this year. So, and I've always known Clark to be a straight shooter. Yes, he's got his thumb on the money, and he wants to be responsible with it. But the Chiefs make a lot of money as a franchise, and now's the time. Do they want to have a 5 or 6 year gap and then Mahomes magic at 35 plus, or will he do what it takes to make some changes that need to be made? And I don't have the answer.
I think he will spend money because this organization got used to win the championships and everything else. I talked to Gracie, sometimes, off and on, but I think they will look into this, I think they will look into this coaching stuff and these players, and try to, because like they said in the chat,
the owner.
like they said in the chat that you got the generation talent at Patrick Mahomes. You don't want to have the issue where you don't, like I always say, build the ultimate roster, build the ultimate coaching staff around them. Heck, and then when the season is done, half of these coaches probably ain't gonna be here. Like, because the previous year these coaches have been here. Spags, they always kept the same core together. I can see Dave Tobe not being here next year. I can see Nagy taking a job or, getting let go. I can see Spags taking another job and getting let go. And they're going to have to spend money to bring some of these younger coaches in, some of these hot-minded, up-and-coming coaches coming out of college, what I mean, or on other staffs as well. So I think Clark Hunt will spend the money to get some of these issues solved on his coaching staff, because looking at this offensive scheme, you got Patrick Mahomes at the helm, you got the generation talent, and you only put up 10 points. I know Houston defense. I've seen Patrick Mahomes go to better defenses than that, and then only then just put up 10.
Well, his record against number one defenses was like 6-1 or 7-1 when he faced them in the last couple of years. So yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that's why I said
he raised to the occasion when it came to playing top ranked.
Yeah, he just didn't. He just didn't last night. That's all there is to it.
So do you think they would get? Do you think Clark Hunt would do something like that, Luke or Harold?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we talked about it before, and I don't know. I mean, I really don't. It doesn't. You look at guys like Jeffrey Lurie, Kroenke. I mean, some of these other guys, and obviously they have no problem putting money where they have to, whatever. I mean, Howie Roseman, God bless him, but he's got an owner that basically will do whatever the hell he says, right? And will spend and do whatever he needs to do to make the salary cap work, all this other stuff. I still think Clark has a little bit of the old man in him, and he's got 3 Super Bowl rings now. Give him a 4th. I guess when he was a kid, I guess that still counts for him. Those checks keep rolling no matter what, right?
Oh yeah.
And Nick, like you said, as far as if they're having to fork over some money at least for a new stadium and everything else. I hate to say it, but I mean, it still is a business, and the winning part is important. It's very important to fans, and I'm sure it's important to most owners. I don't think all of them, but most.
Clearly.
And I think that Clark, I'm not saying that he is satisfied. I'm not saying that he's not going to help the team or help Patrick as much as possible, because again, we've got kind of like this rare gem, but again, all those Lamar Hunt trophies, the Super Bowl rings. Now it's time, for maybe it's time for a legacy play with the new stadium and, setting Gracie up to be like the greatest owner of all time.
I don't know. I think when he went out there to get Andy Reid to solve the issues, right? When he took over, he said, we're not going to go into the league like this. We're not going to go, and that solved the issues. So I think he will go out.
I think he was feeling a lot of pain at that time. Hence, he was feeling some pain of 2-14. People not coming to games. You talk about the people with the bags over their heads and whatever. So, that was something that, hey, I have to do this to get this team right. In terms of the coaching, you go back and say, Tobe and Spags aren't going anywhere. I would bet my life on that. The only moves that I would think you might see is maybe within the offensive staff, maybe within the defensive staff. But I think they like Joe Cullen. I think they like Dave Merritt a lot. It seems like he's developed some of those defensive backs really well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's just, again, from my perspective. And Cullen, I think, does a pretty good job with the defensive line. So I don't like a wide receiver coach, maybe a more demanding guy, maybe a guy that's been in the league for a while that can kind of get his arms around some of these young dudes and really get them to lock in so they don't have to sit before a game and basically say the obvious, we need to lock in. That's not a game plan. That's just kind of like that's your profession. You're expected to lock in. We don't have to say it out loud, right? But whatever. But so Clark, somewhat, I'm not going to go all the way like he's going to give him whatever. So he'll pretty much maybe stay with the budget that he's been giving him. And coaching issues, maybe some of those lower level guys, wide receiver, running back coach, maybe Nagy, if they just don't feel, he doesn't feel comfortable here and he moves on.
What do you think, Harold? I mean, you're out there, obviously. Clark's an interesting person. He now has to balance all these things I think the stadium thing's a factor. I mean, I really do. I think it's part of the mix. But what do you think he should do in regards to some of the problems to shorten that years of gap where they can become a super team again?
I mean, with Clark, you got a lot of guys in the room that just are kind of set in their ways. Let's just be real. Like, the Hunt family's never been an excessive spending family. And if they do, it takes a lot of thought, great decision, and a lot of asks for other entities. So, like, take, for instance, the stadium, everybody else has got a remodeling plan, and, not everybody can be like the Broncos, like to have Walmart money and just, say we're just going to build a stadium across the street and it's going to be done in 6 years. It's final. We paid for it. You're welcome. They're not like that. That's not how they operate. Right. But even you look at a similar type of ownership like Buffalo, we go there in Orchard Park, and there's a nice brand new stadium being built right across the parking lot. Right. And which is exactly what you think the Chiefs would do. Now, I mean, Buffalo doesn't play next to the Royals either. Right. But the Royals can't figure their thing out either. So that's what the whole stadium thing is. I mean, there's easy decisions you can make. They're just not making them because, they want the money to pay for it. Right. That's got nothing to do with the field, though. That's got nothing to do with on the field. On the field, it's one, you can try to go all out for draft picks and free agency, but you don't want to do something like, I don't know, get Sauce Gardner, and then all of a sudden your team's gone to what.
No, they lost their backup quarterback today too.
Yeah, and then you got Riley Leonard playing for you, and it doesn't matter what you do, and you just give it up 2 first-round draft picks. Not good. Yeah, you don't want to do that. They like draft capital in Kansas City, and honestly, you should like draft capital. That's how you're going to build teams. That's how you have player control for 3-4 years. That's definitely how you have it. Now you got to pick the right people, but you still have the player control, and that's definitely what you want to do. I mean, we haven't talked about this yet, but one of the better developments of all of last night was the fact that they've got an undrafted guy named Essapol who played fantastically. And it's like, he's very much player control. So, it's something that that's what they like. That's what they like to do. That's the business of the NFL. But there will be some I feel like there will be some coaching changes, not big ones, but there will be some coaching changes. I don't know what the market is now for Matt Nagy. Now that things have kind of gone awry a little bit. You asked me this question 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. You thought he might be a shoo-in to go find a realtor in Nashville, but
I did.
That's not.
How close is he with Mike Borgonzi?
Yeah, I mean, I just say you might have thought he was a shoo-in to go to Nashville, but now it's like
the thing is, who's making the decisions there?
The PR hit could be bad because it's like, you're going to give Cam Ward, a guy who had Patrick Mahomes, and he looks like that at the end of the year. The PR hit could be bad. So even for a team like Tennessee, who clearly needs a coach right now, so then you have Steve Spagnuolo. I believe he's going to be there as long. I think he's settled in, but you have to think about Steve now with retirement. Does he? Right. How many years does he have left? I think if Andy goes, Steve goes.
Yeah. So he hang it up early.
I think if Dave goes, then
I think the those three guys are joined at the hip. Yeah. They're ride or die with.
Yeah. And as far as they're concerned, Andy's got to be pried out of there. Andy's the same guy that still shows up to work at 4 a.m. in the morning. So it's like,
maybe he should get a couple extra hours of sleep.
Yeah, but. I mean, you can already tell he's talking. He's on Monday. He's like, we're knee deep into the Chargers already. I'm like,
I
know, but like, it has become a little bit of a younger person sport. I will say it has become a little bit. I mean, we're seeing the older like Sean Payton is the AFC West is the cradle of old coaches,
right?
And I mean, we're seeing now like Sean's having a little success, but that's because the Broncos are ridiculously good at 1-point games for some reason.
Right.
And, but I'm sure Denver fans can even tell you they're not really pleased with the whole development.
No, I've talked to plenty of them. They're not expecting much.
Yeah, I mean,
Postseason.
they're not pleased. We know what's going on in Vegas right now with Carroll, and you see what's going on with the Chargers. I mean, they can't. They need to fire their training staff. That's what they need to do over there, because for some reason everybody continues to get injured.
Yeah. You talk about somebody spending money. How about that training facility that
it's beautiful
that Spanos put up?
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Well, Harold, would you bring in Cleve Cranberry? Just have him on the staff, in case Andy Reid
consultant.
Assuming he gets fired from the
consultant
Commanders.
if he's looking for a job. Yeah.
How much would you have to pay him? How much?
I'm just saying.
How much would you have to pay him to rip him from coaching Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, exactly.
And the Commanders. I mean, he has a contract, so you'd probably have to trade for him now.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying, Hense, and I know your love for Cliff, but I don't know what difference that is going to make.
You really like Cliff Kingsbury and Jeremiah Love, man. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get the offense.
They're not going to be in red uniforms.
I'm just saying. Cliff Kingsbury, he found Patrick Mahomes. He found Baker Mayfield. You see what he did with Kyler Murray when he was over there. When he had a chance, with Kyler Murray.
Murray had one good stretch.
I'm just saying, like, he had it, but their team got injured as well. And the talk on her, Jeremiah Love. Hey, I'm just saying, like, everybody knows if you watch the highlights, that's what the Chiefs need. That's what the Chiefs need is, love. They need a little love. We all need a little love as Chiefs fans. And Love is here in St. Louis. He's from St. Louis. Why not go get him? But speaking of rookies, man, what rookies was, go ahead, Nick. Go into the next question.
Yeah, I mean, last night we saw Paul Williams and Galati. Are they worth watching in 2025? And I've been talking about Paul, since training camp. I think he's the future right tackle.
I don't think thing.
Oh,
Nick.
shush! I know. I'm as focused on him as Hense is on Love. I think they were fortunate to get him away from the Jets. How they maneuvered that remains.
Let's not do the touchdown dance quite yet. It was one.
Okay, hold on. He went up against one of the premier pass rushers in the NFL, and he had virtually one pressure after 4 seconds. I don't want to hear your take on this, because the truth is they got a guy. In fact, I think he's going to start next year. Left, right, I don't care. Just make sure he's on the field. I think Noah Williams. Andy Reid said, I thought he did a nice job for what he was asked to do. He had limited reps of practice. He jumps in. I mean, he's a rookie. He did some nice things against what I think is a very good football player, a great football player. And he basically shut him down. And they chipped and they helped him out a little bit, especially early, while he was, starting his reps. But I thought Williams, he had a couple of gaffes downfield, but I think for the most part, the long ball wasn't quite there any longer once he was on the field. And Galati, man, he showed his speed. He showed hustle. I mean, these are three young guys that, you should be very excited about. And, when Simmons comes back next year and Norman Locke comes back, I think this class is going to be pretty good. But yeah, if there's nothing to root for and you think the Chiefs are gone, the development of these guys and some other young guys that could potentially take roster spots from guys making a lot of money or more money, is worth noting. So the Chiefs aren't going to tank, but I think all three of these guys are going to play significantly. I don't know how significant the injury is to McDuffie, but with all the rumors about him potentially being traded or doesn't fit in the plans next year, a wounded McDuffie is not going to yield him much in the trade department. So, they may rest him. We'll see what happens. And what this means is, like Trey Smith, I mean, I wouldn't bring him back. I mean, just let him rest, let him heal the back, the knee. Caliendo was serviceable, but again, we got to see all these young guys and see what they can do. And I think this is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, I think Williams played great. Galati showed what he can do as well. And Poe, man, Nick been all over him since training camp. The kid, he came out there, he did an excellent job. I'll say excellent job. Big boy did what he needed to do. He showed that, this is what, if Taylor leaves, you still have this guy, what I mean? Then, and Williams, man, Williams played well as well, man. But again, do the if I don't want like they only got 5 picks, and I know that you said earlier in the show on Hurl that the Chiefs picking these guys. We're gonna see what Brett Veach do in the mid rounds and everything else like that. They only been they've been picking at the bottom of the barrel for 7 years now. 7 years picking at the bottom of the barrel. Now you have the chance to pick at the the mid section or the top of it and see what you can get. And again, man, Galati played well, and now they picking at the top. Probably sitting at 14 or 13 right now. And if Love is sitting there, Brett Veach, I know.
There we go. You just had to get that in.
I just had to get it in. If he's sitting there, because when Patrick Mahomes came out, Harold, you didn't know we did. I was all over Patrick Mahomes. Everybody wanted Deshaun Watson. People wanted Deshaun Watson. I said, bring in Patrick Mahomes. They got him. I said that the years after that, I said, bring in DK Metcalf. They chose Nico Harmon for some reason. Then Kyle Everson-Larry over Jawan Taylor. I really sit down and I actually scout these guys. I actually look at these guys, and I think Taylor is a generation talent. Not Taylor, but Love is a generation talent. He's a guy that gifted the guys, the NFL guys is looking out on the Chiefs and knowing that they need a running back. And he would be sitting there, and they having a bad season. Why not you take him?
Okay, well, the question was about the young guys, not about what they could have done.
Everybody, I'm looking in the chat. Everybody's saying tank for Love. So that's
all right, Harold. So what do you think of the kids? How'd they do last night?
I thought that I think those are the 3 guys that you see that have a potential of locking in a second deal with the Chiefs. They've been high on Poole. I don't know why in the world he went to the Jets for a bit, but they brought him back. Good decision. Very good. Now, other teams will scout him, so let's see how he does the second, third, fourth time out if he does get that opportunity. But Noah Williams, I think we've seen what we've seen out of Noah Williams. You got a raw deal on that call, that defensive pass interference. I think he's one of those guys who's going to be a little handsy, a little more aggressive. That's the way Dave Merritt likes it. And speaking of which, Dave Merritt, he might be a name to look out for DC jobs in the near future. And I remember talking to him, and he was saying things about how he was kind of waiting for his kids to get to college, and maybe he would start considering those options. And his kids in Nebraska and playing football in Nebraska now, so he's got more than just one kid, but one of them is playing at Nebraska. But and then Gelati, I think you're starting to see some progress from Gelati. And again, Omar Norman-Lott was a huge part of this defensive line. That's the reason why things were not good for a moment there. He was such a huge part of that defensive line. He comes back next year, hopefully, because he had the Achilles injury.
That was one of my golden jacket kids. I'm just saying.
So what?
I said that was one of my golden jacket kids. Parking lot.
Yeah, all the successful ones are his golden jacket.
Hence,
why aren't you GM? Hence, that's the better question.
Hence has. Let's put it this way: Hence has more golden jackets than Canton, Ohio. All right.
Yeah. Hence has it figured out.
I'm just saying.
There's a lot of good things that he's a quality general manager. Hence, get out there, man.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey! You want to get down to the high school level? A lot of colleges need GMs too now. So I mean,
there you go.
That's right. That's right.
Go be an Andrew Luck.
I would love to.
Yeah.
But Marlon Lott, man, probably when he was out there at the Eagles game, he showed the defense looked totally different when he was out there. Then he got hurt. Now we've seen that difference, but these are the guys to watch, Williams and Galati and Poe. Nick been all over him. Lou said, he don't need to start. But Lou, how you feel last night after watching Poe go win in the game and win up against the Monstars last night? How do you feel?
I agree with Coach Reed for not having any reps and going in and playing as well as he did. Absolutely. I mean, you couldn't have really expected anything more than what he was able to do. Now, was it perfect? Absolutely not. Let's see once, like Harold said, I mean, once they, like the Chargers are going to look at this tape because this is the only tape you have of him playing in the NFL. So we'll see, what kind of counters he has, what kind of counters that he takes on when they play against the Chargers. Just kind of watch him over the next few games, and this gives you a nice little entree into next season. All the young guys, I would say, I still, again, am flabbergasted at the small number of reps that Brashard Smith gets. I don't get it. I really don't, because I understand you Pops and Kareem Hunt, and they're basically, between the tackles and so forth. I see that. If that's all your running game is going to be, okay, I get it. But let's just get him on the field and let him get out in pass patterns and see what he can do as a receiver or anything, just to have some more juice on the field. But yeah, all the young guys you want to take a look at. Noel Williams has a chance to be a good player. Gelati, what he is. He's a high motor guy. He's going to get after it. He's really, again, reminds me a lot of George. A little bit different, as far as body type, but just that attitude, and he's always going to keep it rolling. So I don't think that's the only thing to keep watching for. I think you just want to see how the team just plays down the stretch when, again, the odds of making the playoffs are very small. Are they going to come out and still play like professionals, like it means something, like they're trying to win? And of course, you would think they would, because again, NFL is not for long. And if you're putting crap on tape, you ain't going to be around much longer. So I think everybody has to kind of say, all right, I got to show something. I got to show something down the stretch here, but especially the young guys. Sure.
Do we all believe that they're going to beat the Chargers?
Yes.
Well, let's see how the Chargers come out of that game tonight. I think Omari and Hampton is supposed to be back. He's supposed to play. I don't know. We'll see with the inactive's active, but he's kind of on pace to play. But yeah, you would hope so. I don't know. Yeah, I had that feeling, last night. It was basically one of those sack up, nut up type games, and they did.
I was going, no, you're not going to beat the Chargers.
They did somewhat, but it's just everything is so disjointed and everything is just so hard. Everything that looked so easy in the past has just become a chore.
It's all talk. Harold said it's all talk. It ain't.
All right, Harold, let's hear it. Let's have it.
Look, I told you guys last week they didn't win this game. I'm not picking them to win the rest of the year.
All right, that's fair.
All right, well,
I can't. I can't. Like, as much as I'd love to,
stick to it, Harold.
I
stick
can't.
to your guns, man.
I just don't like CJ Stroud.
What's the vibe?
The defense figured these guys out.
Right.
Like, they figured them out. And the offense, and I know the offense gave them a short field for a touchdown. They gave up that one big play to Nico Collins, which led to a touchdown. And then the field goals were the field goals. And the field goal was mostly because, another interception. And they had no other option but to kick the field goal because of the time. So they gave up 17 points. That defense gave a generational performance in the second half. Really that whole game, honestly.
Yeah, really, the third quarter was just like a master class.
And the Texas offense was doing nothing. Who's the quarterback for Chargers? Anybody know?
Yeah.
Well,
I think he's better than CJ Stroud.
If Herbert plays again, he's just had surgery on his wrist.
No, yeah, if he's hurt,
he's still a better quarterback.
Yeah, he's hurt. Now, if he comes out of the game against the Eagles much more hurt, then we'll shift to the Chiefs just because of semantics. But
Trey Lance,
the Chargers are banged up. The Chargers are very banged up, and the Chiefs are getting to the point where they're very banged up too. It's like, hey, who wants the 7th spot right now? The way I calculated is this: the Colts are done. They're going to lose themselves out of it.
They don't win another game. They lost their backup quarterback today.
They're done. So they're not there. Yeah, they're done. So, and you can't catch the Texans, and you cannot catch the Bills. The Bills. You really can't catch the Texans or the Bills.
Yeah.
Texans or Jags, and then Bills. You can't catch them at this point. So you're really looking at the 7th spot. And the Chargers are the best bet. So if the Chargers lose tonight, and then the Chiefs have the opportunity to win against the Chargers, great. Small problem. They still got to play the Broncos.
Yeah,
on Christmas. And I can't see them winning that. I mean, they could. I mean, stranger things have happened. They could, but like
the Broncos again, it's one of those. It's one of those.
You
things
don't think the Broncos
aren't going to come in and wow you with a bunch of points.
But you know what? The Denver Broncos would love nothing more to do.
Oh, they're going all in.
Win the AFC Championship in Kansas City.
Absolutely. They're going to go all in and make a statement. They're going to throw everything at Kansas City.
Yeah, they would love nothing more than to come in and win and clinch the AFC West.
Plant that Walmart flag at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, there you go. So to clarify, if the Chiefs are going to catch the Chargers, 3 things need to happen. 1, they have to lose tonight. End of story. Yes. They have to have 2 more AFC West losses. They have to lose to the Chiefs and the Broncos. And Kansas City has to go 4-0. They will have the tiebreaker over the Chargers.
Yes. Yeah.
So they would be the 7th seed. So really the only team standing in their way is the Chargers.
The Chargers, yeah.
That's it. And all they have to do is hope for the Chargers to lose 3 of their last 5 games and Kansas City go win the table. The Chiefs are the 7th seed. And then they're going to go to Denver or they're going to go to New England and
settle it on the field.
Yeah, settle it on the field. This is what the league wants. I guarantee the NFL does not want to see the Chiefs not in the playoffs. It's too much money gold because that first playoff game is
the NFC's been doing pretty good without the Cowboys for a while, but
continue. But that streaming game is always going to go to the Chiefs. You know, people aren't going to want to watch the Colts against the Broncos. I don't think it's going to be that exciting.
Nick is kind of looking like it's going to be Caleb Williams and your boy from Drake May. It's like that's what it's looking like it's going to be. If Kansas City don't turn this around, it's going to be the Chicago Bears.
I tell you what, Chicago may have gone from the 1 seed.
They went from the 1 to the 7.
They went to the 1 to the 7 in one game.
Loss. The NFC margin
is serious.
So razor thin. The Bears may not even make the damn playoffs after it's all said and done.
Yeah. You think the Chiefs would make the playoffs in the NFC?
Not a chance. They would already be eliminated.
Almost be eliminated.
Right now, I think 4 losses has Chicago at the 7th seed. So
crazy.
Yeah, that's a tough go on that side of the
AFC's wide open. Wide open as it's ever been.
You got to hope the Eagles win tonight. And then you got to hope that the Chiefs can take care of business the next week. So
because the Broncos are going to keep playing because they want the number 1 seed.
The Broncos have something to play for with the 1 seed. They're going to come in here at Christmas highly motivated.
They have to,
especially after what happened to them last year at the block field goal. So
they have to get the 1 seed to play one last game.
Grinch just stole Christmas on. The Grinch just stole Christmas. That's what's going to be happening.
Yeah. And then at that point, the Chiefs should never play on Christmas at home ever again, or Clark Hunt should never push to play on Christmas. They keep losing on Christmas.
He keeps pushing.
How about if the Chiefs
keep losing home games on Christmas?
Eliminated at that point, and then they turn around and beat the Broncos.
Yeah. Now, if you lose to the Chargers on Sunday, then
it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
At that point,
there's not much to play for.
At that point, they won't be mathematically eliminated, but you can't be 6-8.
What do you guys believe is the bigger surprise? The Chiefs being where they are, or Vrabel first year has his team poised to be the best team?
Oh, the Chiefs. Chiefs.
Chiefs failures. Absolutely.
I'll say it's the Chiefs, man, because I thought, like you said, Lou, that this was going to be Brett Veach's year. That this is what you're going to have to do. This is what you're going to draft. I didn't see this coming. Like I said on the X Spaces last night, I didn't see this coming. I thought they'd come out the Super Bowl and say, "Hey, we got Embarrass in the Super Bowl. We'll come back next season. We're not going to have that." And they lost to the Chargers, right? The snowball just kept going and kept going. So,
right.
Maybe like I said before, you don't got to rebuild the whole house. You just clean out the attic and clean out the garage.
And the basement.
In the basement. That's what they need to do right now with this Kansas City Chiefs team. So, Harold, before we go, I'm going to ask you, what's your score prediction? I know you said they're going to lose. What will be your score prediction for the Chargers?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to go 20 to 17 Chargers. I'm going to have to.
There you go.
I mean, I'm pot committed at this point, and I'm going to have to. I mean, look, put it this way. I want to stay on that record. I think I picked the Chiefs to win every game except like one this year, the annual Buffalo loss. So like, every week I've been sitting here like they should be winning this game, but they're not.
Right.
So, I mean, they haven't got blown out in the game yet. Even though I will say Sunday night felt kind of like a blowout, even though it did feel like game. It felt like it just felt so far away. But I mean, I'm pot committed at this point, and I know the Chargers are banged up. I mean, I do reserve the right if Justin Herbert is to the point where he can't go, then I change that, obviously. But
we'll give you that right. We give you the right.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm looking at the guys sitting there in the locker room looking at where is it gone. It's hard to get up from something like that where you got beat up and you got to go out and prepare. Who knows? Wednesday they got a good attitude, but like I'm just not seeing the signs, and I just don't like the way like they looked very defeated last night.
They're not walking like a champion right now.
Yeah, they looked very defeated. I mean, like even when they've lost, there's still hope. But like last night was the first time they genuinely looked defeated, and I just don't know what to say. I mean, I got to go. Prove me wrong, but I got to go LA.
Go Chargers! 20-17. All right.
As good as the Texans' defense is, for them to come out of that game with 10 points, bad offensive line or not, or hurt. Maybe it wasn't a bad offensive line. I don't know that I don't think they lost because of the offensive line. It's just so disappointing to see some of these receivers and just not being able to make contested catches or make plays when the plays are there to be made. And just the contagious. I mean, it became contagious. I mean, hell, Noah Gray never drops the ball.
Yeah,
he dropped a couple.
Oh, everybody had a drop.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't see it. I'm sure he didn't see it, but somebody on the sideline probably had to drop the water bottle. Like it's just.
Hey, but again, I thought the receiver crew was going to come out this year like, okay, we never seen these guys play together. Heck, I don't want to see these guys play together.
Not anymore.
After what I see last night or all season, Hollywood, Juju. It's time to rebuild that whole wide receiver room once again.
You can't have a receiving core full of Smurfs.
Yeah,
you can maybe have one guy that size, but you can't have two of your top three receivers.
They need an alpha male
the size of Hollywood and Xavier.
Nick Harbor.
You need. Well, yeah, maybe.
You can only draft so many guys in the first round. You know that, right? They only get one pick.
Yeah. I know he'll be there in the second or third round. So 6'4",
you know they will pass him in the second round for somebody that you don't like.
I know it's coming, Lou. I know it's coming.
You can make book on that right now.
So with that said, guys, we want to thank you guys for watching. We will be back Wednesday at 1:30 with Chiefs Who. I don't know if you got your notebook. Everything's still talking. Nobody ain't won nothing yet.
No, we've got a leader. Nobody got the last one.
No.
John Harrison's still leading with 3, Mecchio 2, and then Winston, Kareem, and Sam each have 1. So it's still out there. We got what? Four more.
That's it before the champion.
So
all right, guys. I want to thank everybody. Harold, thanks for coming on today. We appreciate all you do. Lou, stay safe on the East Coast. Yes, thank you for all you do. I'm your host, Nick Athen. Guys, we'll be back Wednesday. Thanks for spending an hour and a half with us today. We really appreciate it. Cheers out.